Did you know that the ancient Greeks had a drinking game that involved flinging wine across the room? The game was called Kottabos, and for centuries it was one of the most popular forms of entertainment at Greek drinking parties known as symposia. But this wasn't mindless drunken chaos. Kottabos actually required skill. Players reclined on couches arranged around a target positioned several feet away. Using a special shallow wine cup called a kylix, they would flick the leftover drops of wine through the air in an attempt to hit a target. The most popular version of the game involved a tall pole. Balanced at the top was a small bronze disc called a plastinx. The objective was to strike the disc with enough force that it would fall and crash against a metal plate below. The louder the clang, the greater the triumph. There was also a second version of the game. Instead of aiming for a bronze disc, players attempted to sink small floating bowls placed inside a larger basin of water. This version was considered quieter and perhaps slightly more refined. But either way, accuracy was everything. The technique itself was surprisingly sophisticated. While reclining on one elbow, players threaded their fingers through the handles of the wine cup and launched the wine in a high arc toward the target. Ancient writers even compared the motion to throwing a javelin. And apparently, people took it very seriously. Ancient Greece was a society obsessed with competition. Whether in politics, athletics, philosophy, or drinking games, the Greeks loved testing themselves against one another. One ancient writer even described Kottabos as a glorious invention. The game became so popular that special circular rooms were sometimes constructed specifically for playing it. That way, every participant could sit exactly the same distance from the target. But as you might imagine, things didn't always go smoothly. Modern historians have recreated Kottabos using replica cups, and the results were exactly what you'd expect. Within minutes, grape juice was flying everywhere. Floors became sticky, targets were missed, and people were occasionally hit instead. Ancient sources suggest this happened back then too. In one surviving story, a participant became so annoyed with a rival that he repeatedly aimed wine at the man's head rather than the target. Apparently, some things never change, and there was another layer to the game as well. Romance. Players often dedicated their throws to someone they admired. A successful shot was thought to predict success in love. Some prizes included sweets. Others included favors or kisses from courtesans attending the symposium. Women played the game too, particularly the educated courtesans known as hetairai. So Kottabos wasn't just a drinking game. It was part competition, part flirting, and part social performance. Eventually, however, the game faded from popularity. By the 4th century BC, references to Kottabos largely disappeared from Greek art and literature. And despite modern attempts to revive it, it never quite returned. Perhaps because launching wine across a room turns out to be harder than it looks. Or perhaps because nobody wants to clean up afterward. History is full of strange games, but few are as uniquely Greek as Kottabos, a game that combined wine, competition, romance, and surprisingly athletic skill, all while lying down. And next, discover why Queen Charlotte refused to follow fashion trends and instead turned the English royal court into one of the most oddly dressed courts in Europe. If you enjoy the strange, beautiful, and unsettling side of history, make sure to subscribe.